Hello and welcome to House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng and this is the Coffee Break Show. Wherever you're watching from in any part of the world, remember you can always catch us on our social media handles at House of Talent Television. That's on our YouTube, on our Facebook, on our Twitter. You don't have to be seated in the house. You can get that right on your phone. Watch us on the go. This is the Coffee Break Show that happens every week, and I know that there are people who have really been waiting for the show. So if you're ready for it, get your cup of coffee, get your book and your pen. I know there are people who like to take notes, and let's get started with the coffee break. This week, I have a man who has been a barista for 1 year. He has got that experience. His name is Paul Sally. Paul, you're very welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Thank you for honoring our request to be here. We have had a lot of baristas come up on the show, a lot of roasters come up on the show, you know, a lot of farmers. And I was talking to you earlier and you said that you had an experience with your father who was a coffee farmer, you know.
And he still does.
And he still does coffee growing up as a young man. So growing up, how did that, you know, shape you into the coffee business? Because I think you saw your dad, and normally for guys, we always want to follow what our dads do, right? So how did that shape you into, you know, becoming the man you are in the coffee business today?
Actually, generally speaking, my dad didn't even do any like physical training that this is coffee, this is how they do coffee, this is how they process coffee, this is how they do, no. But to me, as I grew up, seeing him doing the farming, the coffee farming, the way I moved and transitioned from one step to another, going into institutions, coming to Kampala because our main home is in Masaka. I didn't have any ideas about coffee. I stopped at the coffee farming. You understand? But then, actually it was after COVID, you know, the first lockdown.
2020?
Exactly, 2020. So after that lockdown, I was so bored at home. I'm like, which place should I go to now? All of a sudden, I'm like, let me just go to Kingdom Kampala. So as I was moving at Kingdom Kampala, I was moving randomly. So I met there some guy called Vincent. I remember the name. He had this gas station in the corner of Kingdom Kampala, like a coffee station. So I landed there. I saw him selling honey. He had coffee. What? So I'm like, okay, you have coffee, you have cappuccino, because that's the only thing I had in my head, cappuccino. So he served me the cappuccino. Fortunately, that time I was the only one in his station. There were no other clients. And he was a little man, like a youth, around 28. And he came by my side, just from nowhere. He started talking about coffee. Told me how he loves coffee, me with coffee. And then he told me, at that very time, when he was jazzing me, he had issues with his girlfriend. And then he told me he doesn't care as long as he does his coffee. So that's how much he loved the what?
The coffee.
And he told me so many things. I'm like, how did you learn coffee? He told me I was in Kabale, blah, 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 blah. He had like the same kind of life, dealing in coffee farming. And his grandfather loved coffee. What they used to export coffee in those days, his grandfather. So he told me he loved coffee. From not just being a barista, but coffee as a plant, coffee as a drink, coffee as in the coffee world. He entered that world too much. I left the place. So now I went back to Masaka. I found my sister starting up a simple restaurant. You know, when you reach Masaka, I don't know whether it's called Nyendo, there's that roundabout. This route goes to Mbarara. Then this we proceed with Masaka Rakai. So there was a mini station there. She wanted to put a restaurant. So when I went there, I'm like, I have a friend of mine in Kampala who told me about coffee, and that does what?
Coffee.
I didn't know the roasting. All I knew is how to plant, to harvest and dry. You understand? Not even hulling. I didn't know any processes. I just stopped at drying because we used to sell that unhulled coffee. So my sister told me, people of Masaka local, they cannot know coffee, blah, 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 blah. All they want is their tea. Put their majani, put their sugar, and boil water. They will take that. So I came back to Kampala. Okay, the way the other guy talked to me about coffee really caught my attention. I went back to him as a customer again. But this time around in my mind, I'm like, I have to know something more. So he told me, then I had heard previously that coffee does so many things.
Yeah.
And I was pursuing a course at MOMS, accounting.
Yeah.
I told him, people tell me coffee makes you sometimes take some hours without sleep. So he told me there is the strongest coffee, which is called the espresso.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bring the espresso.
Oh.
Because today I had to read.
Yeah.
He brewed something very Kataini. And I didn't take it honestly.
Oh.
Because when I tasted, it was too bitter.
bitter.
Then I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Then he told me so many things. Espresso is this, what. I'm like, one time, I'll get time and maybe you will teach me more. Personally,
Yeah.
not professionally, but you keep on telling me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we lost contact. You understand?
Yeah.
So now time passes. Around November of last year, no, October of last year, 2020.
Yeah.
I was in Chirika because I stay along Namgongo Road. So I have a restaurant where I always eat my meals, Masha Foods.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some guy. He tells me about so many things because I used to see that they serve their coffee. Those guys are very passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
Organized, they are not so congested. You order for a beverage in 2-3 minutes, it's done.
Yeah.
So this guy, I asked him, I'm like, do you know something about coffee? Because I still had Vincent's concept in my head, lingering all the time. And this guy, the way he talked to me really seemed, he basically decided to be a barista because of joblessness. There was no passion. You understand? Exactly. Because he has to make ends meet.
Yeah.
He decided to go and do it, learn being a barista.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. Do you know somebody who knows much about coffee?
Yeah.
He gave me like 3 guys. But when I called the first one, the way they talked really seemed arrogant. You know those people who, you know, we Ugandans, sometimes if you have an idea or a knowledge, we are so greedy and mean to each other. Finally, I got Isaac.
Yeah.
You understand? Isaac of Brew Plus. I talked to Isaac. He briefed me a lot about coffee. He told me, I do this, I train like this, I do blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, one time, let me go visit Isaac.
Yeah.
When I went to see Isaac in person, he made me love the coffee. Because for him, he's somebody who actually first told me about the farming. And remember, I grew up seeing the what? Witnessing the farming. Yeah. And in our farming, my dad is not that person who studied so much. Yeah. No, he does the local farming. Yeah. He's going to buy land, use the normal fertilizers, does the normal drying. He uses one method. Actually, he has never heard of any other processing method. He knows the dry method. Yeah. Get coffee from the cherries from the garden, dry them, take to the hallers, period. Yeah. That's where he stops.
That's an interesting story.
Exactly.
And I want you to tell us more about that. We're going to take a break right now. And you'll just take us more into, you know, how your dad started growing coffee without actually knowing, without getting any education from coffee. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel. Today we are hosting Paul Sally, and we will be right back after this break.
That's when I started learning that, this is how coffee is. But why is it that we produce coffee here and just sell it when we don't take it here, we don't consume it here? So one time when I had just started my training here, I went back to Iganga. And then I went to a hotel, a very established hotel. I will not mention its name. Then I wanted to see if I have people that know about coffee in hotels, because I knew maybe probably big hotels serve coffee. So to my dismay is that I introduced myself as a barista, and everybody was like, "What's a barista?" So I said, a barista is a specialist that makes coffee, a person who makes coffee for people to, coffee like, cappuccino, different kinds of coffees, and people were like very green. I said, this is a big hotel. I expected to find here a coffee machine, and nobody knows about it. So it's, I think, incumbent of us to really transform this entire community, the entire country, to coffee, to learn about coffee, and also to give them the advantages of coffee, teach them about coffee, and then later on they maybe consume it, rather than just selling it.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. My name is Ateng Emmanuel, and with me in the house today is Paul Sally. Before we went for the break, he was telling us how he basically got into coffee, coming from Masaka, meeting someone at Kingdom, and, just getting in love with coffee. And it's interesting that everyone who has come on this show told us that their first experience, their first cup of coffee was bitter. They actually did like their first cup of coffee, which is very interesting. But before we went for the break, you were telling us how, your dad was a coffee grower, and he only knew one way of growing coffee. Never went to a school. Basically what he learned, I think, from his parents is, what he also started doing. So just take us through that a bit more.
Exactly. Like, I think in their generation, their parents were those people who really believed that agriculture is the way to go. Like, it's been a backbone of Uganda for a long time.
Yeah.
I think my dad grew up to the people that were there by then.
Yeah.
So, as a youth, he caught up by that, and whichever plantation he bought, he could put coffee. Put coffee. So he became a very good coffee farmer. Yeah. Not that he did only coffee farming, but he dealt in agriculture. Yeah. But coffee fishing, but coffee was because we used to really spend a lot of time into the coffee. Exactly. Yeah. So it came by like that. Yeah. Something that he saw his parents do and he decided to also come up with it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But now me, how do I get the interest of really? How do I start venturing into being a barista? When I met that guy at Masha Foods, he was so different from Vincent, the first guy I met at Kingdom Kampala. Yes. Because this one really only showed up like I'm being a barista because of joblessness. This is the way to go. So when I met up with Isaac at Brooklyn, I didn't even come to learn. I had come to see, like, to get some more conversations about coffee. Yeah. Then he told me this is an academy. But the academy was one room. So in my mind, I'm like, this guy is saying this is an academy. I'm like, tell me about an academy. Yeah. I teach, you do exams. I'm like, in this place. Oh, this is an office. It was like this place. I'm like, wow. Then I got more confused. Yeah. Like, the coffee world seems to be so simple and tricky, but very interesting. Yeah. So I'm like, how much? He told me about that teaching, what. I'm like, let me. So when I learned the coffee, what do I become? What can I do? He told me coffee is not all upon being a barista. Yeah. It is so many things. So he took me to the teaching phase. Yeah. And I really loved whatever thing I obtained there. Yeah. Now, being a barista, because basically most people think being a barista, actually if you to go into many academies, even if you visit stations, most of them concentrate on the latte art. They think if you make a very good tulip,
I mean, that's what everyone wants to see.
Exactly. Because for us, most of us here in Uganda, or even Africa, because basically in Uganda we have coffee. Actually, we produce very good coffee, but the coffee we export, but we do not consume it. Yeah. The consumption here is too limited. Yeah. For us, we cram. Yeah. We really cram. And we concentrate on what we see at the table after serving. Yeah. I look at the heart, I'm like, wow, but we don't mind the quality. You understand? Yeah. So now me, when I was there, I had my classmates, and they were concentrating onto the art, the latte art, making a heart, heart. And me, it gave me a time, to be honest. Because the first taste of coffee I had was bitter. You understand? So I wanted to know the reasons why that thing can be bitter. Yeah. And I got them. The ratios, the way you extract, that time you take to extract. Yeah. You understand? The way you steam the milk, the way you do what, because remember coffee is huge. Yeah. There is black, there are milk beverages, and they are all played in different ways, depending on what you use. You understand?
Yeah.
So, being a barista, really, I didn't wake up and I'm like, I want to be a barista, but one step led to another. And when I reached there during my course time, because it's a very short course, there is a way my mind opened up.
Yeah.
My dad is just a local coffee farmer. He doesn't know about roasting. He doesn't know about grading. You know, he stops at farming and selling the dried coffee.
Yeah.
And then my mind opened up. Fortunately, after this car lockdown of 42 days, I went back to the village.
Yeah.
And I sat him down. I'm like, man, you have to wake up. We are missing up on something.
Yeah.
You understand? I told him a lot about coffee, what I had learned.
Yeah.
And he really seemed green again. Like roasting. Have you heard of roasting? How am I roasting? He doesn't actually, I think in his life he has never tasted any coffee beverage.
Yet he's the one who actually.
Yet he does the farming and on a large scale. You understand?
Yeah.
So that really showed me like being a very good barista. Somebody, I don't know if I'm running so fast, but
No.
it came into my mind that I should challenge most of my fellow baristas.
Yeah.
It's not upon going at the station and I do power overs. No. Do I have adequate knowledge about coffee?
Yeah.
You understand? Because assume you are a barista, you can brew. Because baristas mainly just want to brew and do the latte art, the cappuccino. You understand?
Yeah.
But they don't go deep to know or to do follow-ups about the taste, the aftertaste.
Yeah.
Like in case I serve somebody my cup, in case I want to make a unique cup, for them they consider it on the latte art and the power over. Imagine you're a barista, you know the different kinds of coffee origins.
Yeah.
Let me serve this variety. Where can I put it?
Yeah.
You understand? I'm a barista and I get a customer who loves coffee by consumption, but they have never got an idea, because there are also those people who can take the coffee, but they don't know where they plant the coffee. Like my dad plants and doesn't know the consumption. There are those consumers who don't know the way they plant the coffee. So what if I also create awareness into the person who just does the consumption and can as well do what? So it's good to have adequate knowledge.
True. That is
knowing
true.
about coffee from the root up to the consumption.
Yeah, or from tree to cup.
From tree to cup.
As the
You
barista
understand?
said,
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So now with all this knowledge that you've got, you went back to your dad, sat him down, and he realized that he's totally green about coffee. So how are you and your dad now working together? Because you find yourself in a good situation. He grows for your barista.
You know, our parents were brought up in a way that to them, whatever they say, okay, they always make you believe in what they say. So whenever I disagree with our parents about certain opportunities, they'll be like, kana nako kato. You understand? So now I just decided to be patient about my goal concerning coffee. I want to work so hard, so hard to do the planting, to do the roasting, because I got the only advantage I got with actually Brew Plus. When you go to most academies, because apparently people are just deciding to be baristas like the guy of Masha Foods. Joblessness. Middle East baristas are killing it, blah 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 blah. Let me just go and learn coffee. So he comes on Sunday and he wants by Thursday to be knowing how to go, because they concentrate on powering. You understand? So now I'm having, of course, targets. I want to concentrate, because being a barista is very easy. Very easy. But how do I benefit from that knowledge? And how do I prove my dad wrong? I have to work hard, do my plantations and my planting, do my processing up to the time of consumption. I make a very good cafe or a very good station. Even the labs, I will make them. Because I would wish to see, why would we take that much importance of coffee to other world when we can do it here in our country?
Do it in our own country. That is very
exactly, because literally, I think we do consumption at like a 10%. The rest is taken out. You understand? But remember, you can take coffee.
Yeah.
It has so many different importance.
Yeah.
Those ones who have sugar problems, diabetes. Those are
students who want
to take very good reading. Exactly. So you realize we are missing a lot.
Yeah, true.
And the reason I want to do the labs, that is my dream about coffee. Like I would wish to also extend much knowledge to people about coffee. Because it's been like the greatest cash crop we have, even up to today.
Yeah, it is actually. We export a lot of coffee.
Exactly.
Like you say that we don't even consume, 10% of the coffee we take. That brings me to the next question. Most of the baristas we have, after doing the barista course and all that, everyone wants to basically, go to Dubai, go to Saudi Arabia, and go to all these different places. So for you, why didn't you ever think, you know what, I think I should go to Dubai, I think I should go to Saudi Arabia, or you just didn't have the opportunity to do so?
Well, like I said, my primary reason why I went into being a barista wasn't to look for a job. You understand?
Yeah.
I loved the first guy I met at Kingdom Kampala gave me a very good impression.
Yeah.
He actually, for him, he seemed to just love coffee. Over he earns, over he doesn't earn, he loves just
like
talking about
passion,
coffee.
Yeah.
If he talks about coffee, the person, he feels
happy.
Exactly. So I didn't really go into being a barista to get a job, to look for jobs. If that chance comes, I will go, trust me. But I loved the whole concept.
Yeah.
You understand? The advantages surrounding coffee as a plant are very, very many. Because even the baristas today, when you go to, I was still telling you about most academies, you just go, they make you do the pour overs because it's what you want anyway.
Yeah.
Then you go away. You're half baked. You don't know much about the coffee.
Yeah, true.
You don't know that in case, because some people, you can do very good steaming, you extract very good espresso, and the taste still becomes funny.
Yeah.
So, in case a person tastes that cup, and I tell you, my brother, your cup tastes funny.
Yeah.
But you did everything in the right way.
Yeah.
You used a very good ratio. You used what? How are you going to explain to them?
Yeah, so if you don't
so you will have limited knowledge. You understand?
True.
Exactly. So basically, I just decided because I loved
the coffee.
Yeah. And I want to challenge so many people.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that you actually want to challenge baristas. I know not everyone wants to run out and make money, And yeah, I mean that's where the world.
I also ran
one
time if I get a chance, if I get a very good
maybe
opportunity that satisfies my interest. Yeah. Because right now I'm running a shop here in town.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting.
Actually, after here we'll come and support. But in case the chance comes, of course I will also go.
Yeah. Well, I know there are many baristas out there, and once you get this knowledge, you always want to fly out of the country, and it's for good cause. But I think that we need to also focus on Uganda and try to make Uganda a coffee taking nation. Yeah. We're going to take a break right now, and when we get back, we're going to be talking about what makes a good barista. Okay, what are those qualities, what are those elements that make someone a really good barista? This is House of Talent Television, the coffee break with me, Emmanuel. We'll be right back after this.
So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups.
Yeah.
For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. Yeah. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. Baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy.
Yeah.
So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pro Plus.
Yeah.
Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing the course.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. Before we went off, we're talking to Paul about his adventures, how he started into the coffee business, how his dad, introduced him into it, and his dad had no knowledge about it, so he had to go to school, study, go back to his dad, and now he plans on using that knowledge that he has to basically improve the coffee industry in Uganda. And Paul, before we went for a break, we started the conversation on what makes a good barista. The story you told me earlier, actually, your first experience with coffee with the guy at Kingdom, the way he talked to you about coffee, and the way he introduced into it. I believe that for every barista, okay, all of us have our own personal characters, but when you become a barista, there are certain qualities that will make you a better barista than the others who are there in the field. So what are some of these qualities that, made you, let's say, a very good barista?
Well, number one, of course, like the other guy I first met, passion.
Yeah.
I believe for everything to work out in life, be it photo shooting, be it swimming, it's passion.
Yeah.
If you love what you do, because literally in the world today, now in Uganda here and in Kampala, we are called the things we do. In most cases. When you go to a kids, a person who says chai is going to be person and say chai. You understand? So if you do not love what you do and they call you by it, you're going to fume.
True.
You have to love what you do and you make it, because that's you. Literally what you do in most cases is your mother, your father. It brings meals at the table.
Yeah.
So you have to love it. Number two, adequate knowledge, like I said.
Yeah.
Not just doing the power overs and it stops there, because it's what people want to see. You understand?
Yeah.
And number three, you should really be a person who is not mean. What am I trying to mean? Not being mean to maybe the people you serve or what. even to your fellow baristas.
Yeah.
Why? If you share knowledge with people, you learn more.
True.
You keep on sharing and learning from one step to another.
Yeah.
You keep on learning and learning, and there's no you will learn if you are not willing to share. Maybe versatility.
Yeah.
Because imagine power has gone off, somebody has ordered, they want some beverage. I can't give them the reason of there is no power.
There's no power. Yeah.
I have to be versatile. How do I make ends meet?
Yeah.
You understand? You should be ready all the time. Maybe you have your flasks, you have your hot water. For example, there are some power overs that will not need you to just boil all the time.
Yeah.
You understand? You have to be so creative. The customer doesn't need any reasons
Yeah.
not to be served. Your power problems, your mania, what they don't care.
They don't care.
You have to be that person who's very creative.
Yeah.
And as a barista, I believe most baristas, if not all, they really work into the brewing.
Yeah.
You understand? So you have to be that person who has a very good understanding of each equipment. Because remember, each equipment uses a different grind size. For example, if you're extracting an espresso, what kind of grind size am I supposed to use?
Yeah.
If you use that of an espresso or a mocha pot
Yeah.
and use it for a V60, probably you get different
Yeah,
tastes.
different tastes, true.
You understand?
Yeah.
You have to know each equipment. You have to know the brew ratio. Actually, the brew ratio is I
very
think,
important.
the most important. Brew ratio now most people may not understand. It is the ratio of
Water.
the coffee powder to water,
To water,
and the yield. Water in this article will bring us into the yield. If I put 10 grams of coffee into my portafilter, how much
much
of it am I?
water
Exactly.
do I need to add?
So if you don't master the brew ratio,
Yeah.
oh, everything is going to turn out a mess.
Yeah.
You understand? Even if you know that knowledge and you don't master the brew ratio.
Yeah.
So basically, if you compile everything, even punctuality, you're at a station, you start, because we Ugandans cram. When you tell somebody, now here, like you guys host show starts at 8, they come at 8. You understand? So they will not know maybe the heads up, the schedule, the what. So punctuality really doesn't mean you should report at that time scheduled, no. Minutes before or earlier.
Yeah.
What does that help you? Imagine I'm a barista and this is my station.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to report at work at 9, and I come literally at 9. So another customer comes at also 9 sharp.
Yeah.
I've not prepared, I haven't dressed up the same way, or at work, the station may be disorganized somehow. But when you come a little bit earlier, it helps you. And another thing is going an extra mile. Like I told you, most baristas cram. Let me power a hat, a tulip. And they stop there. How? Imagine you are 4 people at a station.
Yeah.
And they all do very good pouring. How are you going to win them? In case your boss wants to get a head barista out of you, how are you outstanding? Going an extra mile means doing what other people may not be able to do.
Yeah.
And that's from the mindset. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, you cannot just wake up and like, I can be a head barista at a station. No. Do the extra mile. Be more punctual.
Yeah.
Be more passionate.
Yeah.
Be more determined. Be more willing to share with others.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if most people come into, like I told you here, it's joblessness, what that leads us into so many things.
Yeah.
But when you go an extra mile, you realize so many things really matter in life.
True.
Exactly. So a barista, actually this is like the most important aspect
Of being a barista.
of being a barista.
Yeah.
Your hygiene.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you about that.
I saw that coming, so I read your mind. Your hygiene, because impression is key.
Yeah.
Remember, you're serving coffee. Coffee is so simple. If you, I don't know if you have some coffee cups here. I will show this. You can find a very small cup, and you have to do a pour over there.
Yeah.
So if you're dirty, you have to, you have to be so hygienic.
Yeah.
Where you work from, the way you present yourself.
Yeah.
Are you attractive? You yourself, you're the first marketeer
True.
of your coffee.
Yeah.
Because people may come to the station and they maybe they have never taken coffee. Does that mean you will never sell your coffee? No. But if you present yourself well,
Yeah.
you tell some people you look nice, you dress well, you smell well, like, well, They can even give you audience.
Yeah.
You talk to them about the coffee and the advantages.
Yeah.
Convince them, but you not convince somebody when you're stinking, you're
True.
looking shabby,
Yeah.
you know. Nobody can allow you to brew their coffee
Yeah.
when you're ramshackled.
True.
Hygiene matters.
Yeah.
Your personal hygiene, the sanitation at your station, oh, it really matters.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and I think-
there is no excuse for that.
Yeah, most of the restaurants, when you go to restaurants in Uganda, apart from maybe the big ones here and there are times you don't even want to go to the kitchen because what's happening behind there is
Exactly,
really crazy.
exactly.
So,
Actually, before even you leave that,
yeah,
why you shouldn't go behind? Most times, the real work is behind the scenes.
yeah,
But here, someone may see you here, Emma, so nice looking, the people who are viewing,
Yeah.
but they don't know the hustle you've just gone through.
yeah.
Exactly.
True that.
So the real work is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, you're behind the scenes as a barista or as any other person.
Yeah.
But today, this is a coffee shop.
Yeah.
As a barista, what is behind your scenes?
yeah,
If what is behind your scenes
yeah,
as a barista, number one, my extractions. Before even you go to the machines, me personally, what is in my heart? Because literally today,
yeah.
most people lead their lives with feelings and emotions.
Very true.
You know, I'm from home. Maybe my wife has disorganized me all. I've found a message of my ex. What.
Yeah.
And I come with all that anger at the station. You understand?
Yeah.
So that feeling, you have to be.
That
able
actually
to-
goes into the cup when you.
Exactly, it
produce
goes into the cup
final
because
product.
sometimes you'll be pouring and someone broke your heart. You're
Yeah.
going to serve a broken heart in the cup.
You probably draw a broken
you
heart.
pour a big one. You understand?
Yeah, true.
So you have to be that. That's why
Ah.
punctuality is very
Very
important.
important, true.
Because if I come with all that anger and I have an hour before starting to really work, I'll be able to balance my emotions.
Yeah.
So there is no, okay, for a barista, you don't have any excuse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, those are actually very important points that you've said. But the one I've picked on, the most important, like you've said, is the way you present yourself, basically your hygiene. We're going to take another break right now. And when we get back, I know for some of you this is the favorite part of the show. We get to brew something. Paul is going to be teaching us how to brew a very good cup of coffee. So if you want to be a part of that, don't go anywhere. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television.
The moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Yeah, remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. My name is Iteng Emmanuel, and we've basically been talking about what makes a good barista. What are some of those elements? What are some of those characteristics that would set you apart as a barista from, a lot of other baristas in the market out there? And we're talking to Paul Sully, who has, told us that one of the most important things is basically the hygiene. How do you present yourself out there? How do you organize your station? What time do you go to work? What are the different things that you do for the customer that will make you better than others? What will get you to be the head barista at your station? And if you're a barista out there, I believe that this has been one of the most important shows for you, because just having knowledge about coffee is not enough. There are extra things that you have to do. There are extra qualities, there are extra elements that you have to make you a very good barista. Well, we're almost coming to the last part of our show, and this is the part I know that everyone loves. Everyone wants to know basically how to make a good cup of coffee. I know there are certain people who have actually bought, certain things, equipments here and there so they can use. But today, Paul is going to run us through the different equipments we have. I know that some people might be looking at these things and they're wondering, are we going to make tea? Are we going to make what?
Exactly.
So, Paul, over to you. Just run us through what we have here and what we're going to be making.
Indirectly, this is like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes matters a lot.
Yes,
you understand? True. I talked about hygiene. This is a towel, a barista towel, they differ. They are those big ones you can just tie here all the time.
Yeah.
I have to make sure my things are very clean.
Yeah.
My tools are very clean. This is a studio. I'm sorry, actually I will begin by apologizing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for those who are interested in hats, I'm not going to pour. This is black coffee. Black coffee is literally hot water, and now I have to first study my tool. Which tool am I going to use to do what? This is a V60.
Yeah.
So that takes you back. If I don't have enough knowledge about the tools, most stations have different brew ratios.
Yeah.
It's not crammed.
Yeah.
Now this may be maybe a 1:16, 1:17, but since it's just a studio, I'm demonstrating. But you have to know as a barista the brew ratio according to what you're going to do and the cup you're going to make. This is a Guzne kettle.
Yeah.
Most of them always have their hot plates, and they can help you into determining the temperature. Because remember, the coffee temperature is not always that too much hot.
Yeah.
Exactly, there is a mild temperature, not that 100 degrees Celsius of water. So this is a Guzne kettle.
Yeah.
So this is just my flask of hot water. It's not. That's why I told you,
when you
a
have
barista
exactly
doesn't have to. You don't need excuses.
Yeah.
This has a hot plate, but on assumption power is off, I have my hot and what in a flask. I can serve my coffee. So I get my hot water. I pour into my kettle. Yeah. And passionately and confident. Passion makes you be confident. Yeah. But if you panic and your boss just backs at you, hey, make us a V60, you're going to just even end up forgetting the V60. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. So this is my Guzne kettle. Passionately, and you don't have to rush, and again, don't have to be so slow. Yeah. Different equipment uses different time. Yeah, exactly.
Be very efficient.
So I close my what?
Your Guzne kettle.
This is my coffee powder.
Yeah.
So this is a V60. The grind sizes matter a lot. I don't know whether exactly preheating is so important in coffee. As a barista, they must be knowing that since coffee doesn't have to be cold and too hot.
Yeah. So I like the consistency. Every barista who has come here has actually preheated.
Exactly, you have to preheat because you realize this thing is now cold. Yeah. If I just pour my coffee there, all the cups, you understand. I can even first preheat this tool before using it.
Yeah. I think it's actually one of the things we use here to test baristas.
Yeah.
And the second one is when you're pouring, making your cup, you have to put it in a swirling motion.
You swirl it. Yeah, you just pour like you're making tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is preheating to make a glass a little bit warmer.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who are watching at home and following with us,
so this is a V60. They always have different filters. Yeah. This one has its own filter, but sometimes there are those paper filters you can just depend exactly. So I talked about hygiene. Yeah. Now you see this water has dropped. Yeah. You must clean. Yeah. you must be tidy all
Always
the
have to
time.
make sure that your station is always clean.
Exactly. You don't have to. For poor hygiene, there's no excuse. Now, this is a weighing scale.
Yeah.
Why do we have a weighing scale? We have to make sure we matter the brew ratio.
Yeah.
So we are going now to the ratio.
Okay.
I put on my scale. I have to wait for it until it is 0. So I first tear off the weight of this equipment. So I come to my coffee powder. This is a V60. I don't know if these people who are watching can see.
Some of them actually have it in their homes. And
Exactly.
They're doing it together with us.
Exactly.
And if you're out there, you're wondering, okay, where do I get, ground
If they
coffee
can
from?
see, these particles
Yeah.
are not like powder, are not like flour. It's like table salt, all fine sand.
Yeah.
So that is a V60. You have to be, since it has a filter,
Yeah.
if you make powder,
To just
it
go
will
through.
just go through.
Yeah.
So you have to be having the knowledge about each equipment you're going to
Yeah.
use. So what I'm doing is to measure the amount of coffee
you
I'm
need.
gonna use for
Yes.
this.
Okay.
So this is 14 grams.
Yeah.
Let me say let me try to use 10.
Okay.
10 grams.
Yeah. So I think as you go on as a barista, sometimes you don't even need the scale. You just have it in your
Exactly,
head and
that's
you know.
experience, but it
Yeah.
comes
Yeah,
with
with a lot of
consistency.
time. Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
So this is
Yeah, so we have
10.5.
about 10.5 grams inside there.
Okay, let's use 10.5.
Okay.
Okay, let me use 10. This is 10 grams.
Okay. Yeah, so we have our 10 grams inside there.
Yes, we have our 10 grams. I can just do this to balance
Yeah.
because I have to swirl. If I don't compact them together,
Yeah. So now to our 10 grams of coffee, yeah?
our
How
10
much-
grams
how
of
much
coffee.
water
Exactly.
do we
Now, how do you
We
know
need to know that ratio now.
How do you know the amount of water you're going to use?
Yeah.
Every station sometimes
Yeah.
have their ratio. Now you can report at work and they tell you here for V60 you use a ratio of 1 to 13, 1 to 15, 1 to 16. What does that mean? If I put 10 grams of coffee
Yeah.
and I'm brewing 1 cup and the ratio is 1 to 17,
Yeah.
how much amount of water should
Water
I
should
get?
I put,
It
yes.
means I should get that ratio. I multiply it by the quantity of the coffee powder. So me, I've used 10 grams of coffee, meaning I'm going to use, okay, let me assume I'm using a ratio of 1 to 17. It means I'm going to use 170 grams. That will be the yield.
Yeah.
So it is the same water I put here.
So 170 ml of water.
Exactly. But this is an equipment that takes between 2 to 3 minutes.
Oh.
So my cup approximately on average it will not exceed 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I start my pouring. I can use the first 1 minute to bloom my coffee.
Yeah.
And the blooming, maybe I can say since I'm going to get 170 grams of the yield, let me use the first 70
Yeah. To bloom.
to bloom.
Yeah.
But that has to be in line with the time in the
Yeah.
duration.
Yeah, within that 3 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the way we pour matters a lot. You have to swirl so that every particle,
Yeah.
as you're pouring, you also watch down.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
You also watch down. So these are 80.5, 81 grams. I didn't set that time, sorry. You'll be watching the time and the weight here.
Yeah.
So this takes 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So this is blooming, I wait.
Yeah, you have to
And
wait
as I watch here,
Yeah.
I shouldn't exceed the minute. And then if I'm using the first minute to bloom,
Yeah.
I have to watch.
Okay. So as
Time.
as we wait on our time, 2 to 3 minutes. You said you stay in Masaka.
Yeah.
You worked in a restaurant in Masaka.
Yes.
And the coffee culture there is really not that good. I mean, people always take
It's the worst. and moreover, they produce the biggest quantity.
Yeah. And they don't take it.
They don't take
so for you as a barista, what are some of those things that you need to do, okay, to encourage people basically to take coffee outside Kampala, because it's seen as a Kampala thing, and also
I'm going to
for
answer
white
that.
people.
Let me
Yeah.
first. Now my minute is almost
Okay.
getting done,
Yeah.
and I have 80 grams so far.
Yeah.
It means I have a balance of how much, like 90.
90 years.
Exactly. So I continue with my pouring.
Yeah.
Swirling is so important.
Yeah. Actually, if you come here as a barista, poor direct.
Exactly.
We'll question where you did your barista course from.
Why should you keep on watching? This is agitate. It's called agitating in
Yeah.
the coffee language.
Okay.
You'll be watching the whole process because you may just pour and you exceed the what?
The limit.
The yield quantity you need. Meaning your coffee may be just
Yeah, no,
tasteless.
that taste, yeah.
Exactly. It will just taste like normal tea.
Yeah.
So now they're 160. It means I have to control the pouring.
Yeah.
I just put drops.
So you keep pouring.
Simple, passionately, confidently, and as you watch your time too.
Yeah.
Because brew ratio and brewing time matter a lot
Yeah,
in coffee.
true.
Exactly. The longer you take,
The thing about coffee is that it's very delicate. Anything
exactly.
can
So
change.
I'm at my 170,
Yeah.
and my time is my brew time is 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. Yeah.
Meaning even at 2 minutes I can
you
serve
can
my
serve
coffee.
it, yeah.
At 3 minutes I can serve my coffee, but
Yeah.
not
Exceeding. 3
exactly.
minutes. Yes.
So yeah, my cup is now ready to serve.
Well, for those of you at
understand.
home that have been following
And
us,
before you even serve, you
Yeah.
have to preheat the cups.
yeah, that is very important because
So-
now if we don't preheat, the cups would have been the same as if we are not preheated. You know, the
So
pot
to
itself.
all my fellow baristas, no need of panic.
Yeah.
And I wish next time you can host me and I do a pour over for heart because I'm sure
And the people out
that's
there, they
what
want to
most
see
of
that.
them want to see. Exactly. That's where
Yeah.
and in most cases, most people don't mind the quality too because even the customers of coffee sometimes
Yeah, do not know the quality.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is all hygiene.
Yeah.
You have to be very tidy at your station.
Yeah.
So this is my residue. I don't need it. I can put it here. Okay, just not to dirten your table.
Yeah.
So this is I can swirl
Yeah.
so that I compound the things together very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm ready to serve my cup. I don't know who's going to taste this. You or I?
You and I. We have to know
Yeah.
who makes the best cup of coffee.
Exactly.
You know, from
This
the
is a
different
big
baristas
cup,
that
right?
come, Yeah.
Always the coffee cups are special
they're
in
big
their
small.
own way. Now
Yeah.
this is for black tea,
Yeah.
all African tea. But this is like a mug. The coffee cups,
Yeah.
because this yield of 170 grams, those are like 6 ounces. They are those coffee cups of a single spoon. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So baristas are good at hearing. Let me
Well.
serve Emma.
Thank you very much. So, as we take a cup of coffee, like I asked you, as a barista, what can we do, to take the coffee culture outside of Kampala? Because now in
Outside
Masaka,
of
people,
Kampala,
actually
exactly.
don't take much coffee.
It's not that easy
Yeah.
because we believe by our that thing of amaso gabaganda gali mungalo. So
Yeah.
we believe by seeing.
Ah.
Of course, with the way I told you, I want to do the plantation, I want to do the labs,
Yeah.
I want to do the mobilization. I will start by visiting certain hotels in my region purposely and restaurants and talking to them about the advantages of coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
Inshallah.
Well, that is very interesting.
Exactly.
If you've been with us on the show, this has been the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. I've been with Paul Sally, who has brewed us a very good cup of coffee. And if you want to know more about coffee, if you want to learn more about coffee, this show is there for you every week. Make sure to catch us. Well, Paul, we'll toast off, till the next time you come back. Like you said, the next time you come in.
I'll pour for them a tulip because
Yes,
I'm
you pour
sure
a
that's
tulip.
a cappuccino, a
Yeah.
macchiato, a what
Yeah.
I'll do for them the pour.
And I think very many people will be excited to actually see
And the way I've talked, I think they're eager to see this
Yeah,
Kaga
yeah.
is
So
they
we'll have
want to see what can I do.
Yeah, what can
exactly.
you do? So we'll have
I'll
to bring
challenge
you.
you.
Yeah,
I
we'll have to
promise
bring
you.
you back next time. Well, thank you for watching us on House of Talent Television. This has been the Coffee Break with me, Emmanuel Ateng. Have a blessed day.
An army of sheep led by a lion will beat an army of lions led by a sheep. That's a fake.
Yeah.
So let's be very honest about this thing and really understand that you need to understand where you lie and where you fall. So it's very important for us to understand that leadership has to be definitive. You can't be laissez-faire. It has to be definitive. You have to be strong, just like a lion. You know, when a lion meets an elephant or a buffalo or whatever, the buffalo and all these animals run away. And yet, by the way, they are stronger than the lion. They are heavier than the lion. They are more intelligent than the lion. They are taller than the lion. They run away. The lion, because of its attitude, it sees lunch. That is a leader.
Mr. Tony Trapp, thank you very much for coming to the CEO bench. And I want to ask you, so if you were elected the President of the Republic of Uganda today, what would be your first State of Nation address? Now, as you look into the camera and close the show.
I think my first State of the Nation address would first of all to... I think I'll just close it down.
Good afternoon. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal. The show is Slam Dunk Basketball, where we talk, discuss, analyze, and assess, and also give you the latest updates in the game of basketball, both locally and internationally. My name is Felix Opal, and I'm with my co-host, Emmanuel Ateng.
Yes,
Emma,
Felix.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah. For the basketball enthusiasts, lovers, and fans out there, there is some good news. The league is about to resume after a long while. Emma, finally, tentative dates. Tentative is the key word. Tentative is the key word. October 2nd for the National Basketball League. October 16th for
the lower divisions.
The lower division teams. How enthusiastic and prepared is Falcons Basketball Club?
Well, first of all, let me say I can't really have my hopes up because the way things keep changing with our federation.
The key word, like I said, is tentative.
Yeah, so
that is the communication that we have
with
at the
their
moment.
Tentative date, you can't really get your hopes up because you might actually get so excited that the league is returning. Then we reach a certain point and realize that, you know what, nothing is going to happen. You know, that date will reach, then football always pushes the date for starting the league.
Yeah, and then it always goes on to another date.
It always goes up to another date. So possibly it might go on to another date. But from Falcons Basketball Club, like I said, I think guys are still in that lockdown mood. We haven't yet started practice. I hope that we'll start practice this coming week and prepare, because we have one game against one or two games. JKL, we still have to play JKL.
Falcons Basketball Club is still left with 2 games. Please be exact to our viewers. We are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on our website, houseoftalentug.com.
Yeah.
You know, give us your views, your comments, your remarks, and we will read them, we will relay them we will try to assess some of them. So, as I was saying, Falcons Basketball Club is left with 2 games. Power Basketball Club, who are also in the same bracket as Falcons. I think Power has 5 losses. Falcons has 5 losses.
Yeah, but we have more wins.
So the situation amongst both teams is actually more so similar. Having a simple conversation with Power Basketball General Manager Philip Chomuhendo, he's very ready. He says, we have to finish what we started. That is his statement. We have to finish what we started.
But finishing, because their season really wasn't that good. And you know the problems they had at the beginning with the whole change of the team, then, you know, firing the coach at certain point, and then, you know, lockdown coming in. And now they find themselves in a place whereby they have 1 game. And that game they have to win, okay? And they're still not sure whether the relegation battle is still being fought in that boardroom. Where
they're actually very confident because they believe that the situations are going to be changing since football does not have a stronghold or rules which are set in stone.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Okay, they could think, okay, you know what, we're going to hold on. Then football wakes up one morning and says, okay, you know what, the last 2 guys on the table go play the tournament.
Are going down to the tournament. But speaking to various managers and who we will not mention because of their request for anonymity, there is the request of each team paying 600,000 shillings. Now that 600,000 shillings is meant to assist the federation in the COVID tests, which are supposed to be done. Remember, prior to all of this, to our viewers out there, the league was halted by National Council of Sports. Prior to, besides all other disciplines. Now that was, according to National Council of Sports, the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association failing to adhere to the regulations and rules which were signed on and set and agreed upon by the 2 parties. Now those rules were no fans, selected media at the games, teams to have prior testing every 2 weeks before the games, and then those results be submitted. However, none of those regulations or rules were actually met. Now, the 600,000 is also creating an issue, mostly with the lower divisions.
I mean, you have to look at it this way. Some teams already paid their money at the beginning of the season to run throughout the whole season, okay? So you can't come back as FUBA and say, listen, after you guys have paid your money, now we're going to add on how much? 600,000, okay?
For you to actually continue in the league, because it has been set as a stipulate
if you don't pay
for a team to actually continue.
So imagine I have 1 game left, okay? And that 1 game is not even going to take me to the playoffs, okay? Do I still pay 600K to play that 1 game that is not taking me to the playoffs? It's a rip-off at the end of the day. And that money is not only for testing, because according to that letter, part of that money is for running the league, and the team still has to bear.
Actually, when you read the letter and you flip through and look into the insides, that money is actually meant to facilitate the running.
To facilitate the running. Now, each team also has to test their players. That is minus the 600,000. So the 600,000, let's say you have 12 players plus your staff. Each test is running at 100K. Isn't that almost 1.5 mil? Plus 600, that is 2.1 million to play 1 game.
To play 1 game.
Just 1 game.
If you put it in an administrative and managerial sense, you'd actually forfeit the game.
You just forfeit the game. But now you see the forfeiture of the game also has an impact on what is going to happen to the other teams. So imagine I give a walkover to a certain team because I can't participate. Okay, that will affect the position of other teams on that same table.
Yes.
You see that?
Because when you give when a team forfeits, even the game that it played against the team,
Yeah.
the other team is also
So
forfeited.
you see that, yeah?
Yeah.
So that is going to bring a lot of circus. Yeah. Some people who are supposed to qualify will not qualify. Someone who was not supposed to qualify will qualify. So it's a lot of circus. And not only down, you know, with the lower division teams, there are very many. Come up to the NBL, okay? 12 teams, all right? 10 now. That
We're talking 10
yeah,
teams,
10 teams
which
two,
have been
two that
taking
did
part.
take part, okay? Certain teams have 1 game to go, all right?
Other teams have 2.
Other teams have 2. Other teams, let's say like JKL, we're not sure whether they even have a team right now. Okay.
Basically, when you look at the National Basketball League, the top tier,
Yeah.
what they have is 1 weekend.
Yeah. Yes,
Saturday,
1 weekend.
Sunday,
And that's it.
and the regular season is
It's
closed.
done. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at teams like KIU. KIU had a lot of international players whom they couldn't really keep here, so they let them go back home. Then 2 of their players, Obleng and someone else, went to play in Burundi for Urunani. So also, does KIU still have a team? Okay.
Because
that?
when you look at when you consider that, and also you consider the fact that Ariel Okal is suspect of not actually returning,
Yeah.
because according to his social media posts and on his page,
Yeah.
Facebook and on his handle, he seems like he is joining another team,
Yeah.
although it is not yet official.
Yeah. But Okal is a businessman. He knows where to get the money from. He has played in Kuwait, he has played in Saudi Arabia, he has played everywhere. Basically for him, where he sees an opportunity is where he will go. So we're not only talking Okal, you know, we're talking other international players who on that team that the team really couldn't keep around. Faizo and others. Then we move to JKL that don't really have a team right now. We're not sure about their contracts.
It's not about JKL not having a team. It's about JKL actually having an administrative structure.
Yes.
We're not
Is
sure
it even there?
What who now the president is, who the vice president
Exactly.
is, who the director of operations is, and then they had set up this structure whereby we have a president, a CEO, a general manager.
Yeah.
We have a senior team. We have a ladies team.
Yeah.
And
Have
then
a
we
team
have
captain somewhere there.
Yes, then we have a junior team.
Yeah.
But now all that was shaken up.
Exactly. So for someone to pay let's put it at 2.1 million plus the test.
No, let's first go with the 600,000 that is required.
Okay, let's go with the 600,000.
600,000 that is required,
Yeah.
according to FUBA General Secretary.
Yeah. So looking at it from a player's point of view, it would be good for us to get back to playing basketball because we don't want to sit for that long. There's a lot of time that we're invested in, a lot of training. But coming to the financial perspective, it is a rip-off. Okay? No one should be expected to pay an extra for what they already paid. Where did the money go that people had paid to run the league?
Well, the federation was helping and running the national basketball team, the Silverbacks, the under-16s, the junior Gazelles and junior Silverbacks.
Yeah.
That is what the PR will tell you. But what exactly, when you go down to reality, to the actual truth, you wonder where the money that the teams actually brought on table is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad for the Silverbacks, okay? But FUBA should separate national team duty from the league. If money is given for the league, it's like in your house. If there is money for salt and for sugar, okay? You can't say I took all the money for salt and sugar and I bought what?
I bought vegetables.
I bought vegetables or something.
Yeah.
Either for salt or for sugar. So there should be money for the league and money for all these different.
They have to prioritize.
Yes, we shouldn't reach a point where again the national team is saying, oh, there is no money, ABCD. The money should be there for the national team, okay? The money should be there for the national league. People shouldn't be expected to pay anything extra. But I also still understand where FUBA is coming from, okay?
How? Enlighten me, because like I said, most of the managers that have been, that have spoken with are not willing to pay a single penny.
Yeah.
They're saying if we don't play, we do not play.
Yeah.
But we're not giving FUBA
Anything.
600,000 shillings.
Yeah, from their side, yeah, I see that you have to run the league because you already budgeted for it under NCS, okay? And I believe that NCS must have given some money for the league. So you have to run the league, okay? They do not have a choice.
No, after the presidential announcement and address that sport can continue and mostly only outdoor sport can go on.
Yeah.
Other disciplines went on.
Yeah.
You have seen football going on. You've seen games being played.
Rugby continued.
Yeah. Football. St. Mary's Stadium Chitende right now is our, we would call it our national stadium. At the moment, games have been going on. Our national team played the Uganda Cranes. Express played El Marik yesterday. So everyone is asking, why is basketball not going on? And the other big question, when the letter was put out, it said that the last paragraph mentioned the fixtures and the venues. The venues will be announced when the fixtures are out. Now, most people, including myself, are wondering, why does the federation have to change fixtures at this moment? The fixture was already put out. I know I'm playing this team, The dates have changed. Now, why do you need to reshuffle it again?
Well, that is a question for, the technical team of FUBA. I don't think I can answer that one, but still, it's not something that should happen. But also, when plans change, you need to have a structure to accommodate the change.
Because I believe it's just a matter of changing the dates.
Yes.
But not changing the fixtures.
Yeah, and also I don't know about the venue. I don't know if we're still going to KIU. Are we going to UCU?
Well, in the letter that which was signed on by the former president, it stated that the venues will be announced when the new fixtures are out.
But I mean, if we're going to, we only have 2 possible venues.
Because when you look around, YMCA is actually very still in. It's just that they're just trying to put a curtain over it. But when you look at the other venues and YMCA, when you look at the court of KIU and you compare it to the court of YMCA, I don't see a big difference.
Yeah, but the floor at the YMCA is not really that good if you've been there of late. It's something that needs to change. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the only possible venues we have are KIU and UCU for the NBL. The others being Makerere Pool Court, Makerere Main Ground, Nakasero for the lower division teams. So I think we already know where we're going. I don't know why they just don't tell us, you know what, we have decided that we're only using UCU or only KIU. That would make it easier for us, and we just keep on running with the same fixture that we had the last time.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal. We're discussing the league resumption and everything that is surrounding it, the uncertainties and the certainties. We will return after this short break.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
a lot has been happening in the game of basketball. First of all, as Slam Dunk Basketball, we would like to first thank the Silverbacks for doing the nation proud and for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. It was a tough task, and history was made when the Silverbacks, our boys, were able to beat on Nigeria. Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal, and I am with my co-host Emmanuel Ateng. We are discussing the resumption of the league and the uncertainties that are surrounding it.
Yeah.
We are discussing the issue about the venue.
Yeah. So like I was saying, there are only two possibilities. We have KIU and UCU. All right. But you see the issue with UCU also, I'm already paying 600.
There's also Nakao, Makerere University Business School. Yes.
I don't know if they've got permission for that.
Yes, they have a basketball court, and the lower division has used that.
Used that, yeah.
Yeah, for some
For
of
some of their games. Yeah, like so I was saying that for the 600K, I've already paid 600. I'm testing my players. Then I have to put in more transport to go where? To UCU. Yeah. Here we're assuming a baseline of we all have one game left because it's only one weekend.
It's one weekend. It's one weekend to the closure.
Yes, to the closure. So I'm paying already 2.1 million. Then I'm adding transportation. Then I have to pay the players, facilitation.
Of course, you have to transport them. You have to get refreshments.
Yeah.
You have to
pay them their allowances.
You have to give them transport
allowances.
Allowances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then plus the other fees that come in.
Yeah.
You have to pay the medical personnel. You have to ensure that your first aid kit has the equipment
everything
that
in it.
is required in case a player gets injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those things. Imagine how much money is going to go into. And let's just say you don't qualify for the playoffs. You've used
because
more money.
the key thing is qualifying.
Yes.
For the ladies, it is a different story because remember there's no regulation.
Yeah.
And
all
the 8 teams and all of them are qualifying. So for them, it is a placement issue.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So for them, it's a mathematics of
who do I play?
Who do I play in the quarters?
Yeah.
Who can I actually eliminate in the quarters to get to the semis?
Yeah.
So their caption is
For them, it's a bit okay.
Yeah, it's put aside.
But for the guys, it's a bit hard. Yeah, because imagine you don't qualify for the playoffs. Let's use Power Basketball as an example. I'm not saying they won't qualify, but in case they don't qualify, remember they had already got how much? 200 million.
They got 200 million
at the
officially unveiled to the public.
So they got their 200 million in quotes. Okay, their season didn't go that well. All right. And now they have to pay extra. They might not qualify for the playoffs. Then they might have to play in the playoff tournament. So there's a lot of that uncertainty that is surrounding them.
Their general manager is actually, like I said, when we had a discussion, say we have to finish what we started.
Yeah.
And they're willing as Power Basketball
to play
and pay. Most importantly is pay.
Yeah.
Because there are teams which are like, no, this money
is too much.
We shouldn't be paying it.
Yeah.
What is it for? Can we test our own players? I'll give you an example of Namungo Blazers.
Yeah.
Saying we can test our players and submit
the
results.
Yeah.
Even if you want them 24 hours before the game or 48 hours before the game.
Yeah.
Besides paying the 600,000.
Yeah.
Now FUBA is caught in a catch-22 situation. So a team is telling you, I am going to test at a verified hospital.
Yeah.
List for me the hospitals according to the FUBA medical person, which FUBA is allowing where we can test players.
Yeah.
We go, we will do our own testing.
Yeah. Give you the
results.
results.
Hospital will actually give you the results, not us as a team, but we're not giving you the 600,000 shillings.
Yeah, I mean, take an example. Also, Tropical Royals, sponsored by Abbey Clinic, who also test. Okay.
Yes.
So would you ask Tropical Royals to pay that same money? Yet they can actually test.
Yeah, they will tell you Abbey Clinic is going to actually
take care of the testing.
Test the testing and give you the results.
Yeah.
As a team, you don't ask for the results.
Yeah.
You ask the results from the medical people
Yeah.
to ensure that there is no tampering
Yeah.
of the results.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that people actually sat in a meeting, all the managers, and they allowed, I don't know which managers allowed that we have to pay 600,000.
We do not know exactly who was in that meeting,
Yeah.
or which people were actually in the resolving of coming down to that
600.
resolution
Yes.
of the 600,000. But it is creating actually a big mountain. It started as a small
Yeah,
mall.
small issue, yeah.
Yes, but now it's creating an issue. Most importantly, because of the fact that there's a condition. You do not play unless you have cleared that 600,000.
Yeah, I mean, if people sat in a meeting, if you and I, Felix, sat in a meeting and decided that, you know what, we have allowed to pay 600K, then tomorrow morning, you, Felix, are like, no, we're not going to pay the 600. So I'm thinking in my mind, okay, people actually sat in a meeting to make this decision.
Yes.
Okay. So after they left that room, did someone decide? Maybe they said, okay, we have to pay 200K. When they left, maybe someone said, okay, you know what? Let's add it to 600. 600K.
But the letter was signed and everything, so it had the uncertainty around our basketball is being too much.
Yeah.
Just like going to the Silverbacks, there's still that issue of the payment and the Kigali issue with the hotel, and the federation is doing quite a good job in being inconsistent. They're being very consistent in their inconsistency. I think that is the best way I can put it. Like I said when we were discussing in the previous show, Arnold Katabi, Vice President, Marketing and Publicity, should come out and clear the air.
Yeah.
That has not happened to this date.
Yeah.
So questions are still being asked. People are still wondering.
Yeah.
Answers are still yet to come.
Yeah.
And I would say this for a fact, at Slam Dunk Basketball, we have tried to ensure that we get these officials to the show to explain.
Yeah.
However, that has been in vain.
No one wants to show up.
Everyone has actually been a bit busy or with a different program.
Yeah.
So, which we at Slam Dunk Basketball cannot actually ascertain. We do not know what,
Yeah.
but professionally, at least if there's no showing up, then issue out an official statement. Clear out the air.
Yeah. Like you said, that uncertainty is for basketball. Let's now say the Silverbacks, you know, after actually making history, coming back, they came back, had a press conference, which I think many people also didn't know. And for a big team like that, when you get back after making history, you know, you should be everywhere on media. People should be interviewing you, getting your different experiences. The federation should really be excited, but it's like they came back and just went in, like Uganda and say Kamori. They just entered Kamori.
Yeah. That would be the right term actually. Yeah, they came in
and just entered Kamori.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked to any of the players. We haven't talked to any of the management. Okay. So we really don't know what's happening. Someone told me that we should get an investigative journalist to look into these
an
matters.
investigative team to know what exactly happened, because we tried getting the coach, we tried getting the head of the National Steering Committee, Haji Santo. Mandy Jurin also wasn't available. The captain isn't available. Jimmy Enabu.
Yeah.
The other players are also local-based players who are around, are also not available.
Yeah.
The manager of the team, Grace Quizel, isn't also available. So it also creates question marks.
Yeah. And also, remember, FUBA started this FUBA TV thing when the league had started. Then with the qualifiers and the different games, they always post something on FUBA TV. You know, you'd expect that by now, okay, at least someone from the, you know, from the committee or the players would have actually been interviewed on FUBA TV. If they do not want to go to other, you know, media houses, okay, you can actually put it on FUBA TV. All we are looking for as the people is that the air be cleared, okay? What happened?
Yes, because
and what's going on.
People deserve to know. People support the team. People have passion, zeal for the Silverbacks, for basketball. People are actually willing to spend for basketball. People are willing to support for basketball. And that is not happening. And it doesn't create a big, a rosy picture moving forward. Because everything is about continuity, not just in sports, but even in business. Wonderfully and very gratefully, 4 players of our under-16 team were chosen for the Africa Youth Championship camp, which is happening in Nairobi. And that is something that we should be patting ourselves on the back to. Have 4 players chosen for that. Now, this is a continuity program that we need. But if that continuity is not actually followed up on, like the case is at the moment, then we're doomed.
We are doomed. I think all these things go back to all the issues that we've been talking about. For example, now that camp with the kids, the under-16s who went, okay, there needs to be a certain form of consistency. People always ask the question, oh, why don't we have, players coming and joining the national team? Why is our under-16 team weak? Why is the under-18 team weak? Yet, before we had the junior NBA, we had the different basketball beyond borders and all this. So we had a couple of players going into those camps, which is not really happening now. And now, because the under-16s did a good thing, we have been presented with a chance whereby we have a couple of players in that NBA camp, in Kenya, okay? But when that is done, is there going to be consistency of now this group needs to be taken care of? Then we get another group that we can push into that, which ultimately has an effect in the future of basketball.
In the future
in the long run.
Future tournaments.
But if they come back and we be inconsistent, as we have always been, because all of us at the end of the day are part of the federation, we are inconsistent. They went for the camp and it was just, they just enjoyed basketball, learned about it, came back and nothing totally happens. It still puts us back in, we're just in a cycle, like how we have a cycle of poverty? We're in a cycle of issues. So we're just going to keep going around.
Where you have a debt and you borrow money to pay the debt.
Exactly.
But you're actually digging a deeper hole for yourself.
Speaking of debts, I don't know if we took more debts in the Rwanda trip.
Those are the things that actually need to be cleared out. Those are the things that need to be cleared out. Because like we were discussing, the fans, enthusiasts and other stakeholders in the game of basketball are willing to fundraise for the team, have an account where they can actually place whatever they can for the national team.
For the national team.
That is the ladies, the Gazelles, the Silverbacks, the junior Gazelles, and the junior Silverbacks. But with all these circumstances, someone who's willing to actually donate money will actually say,
and you have to start having trust issues.
If I have 5 million shillings and I want to
invest it here,
not invest it, donate it for the love of the game and the growth of the game, how is it going to be utilized? So when you have those question marks, you're like, let me first hold on to it.
Hold on to it. And with that, time is going, then national tournament comes up and we still don't have anything in the bank. Okay, so I don't know, like our teacher used to say, we can talk until the cows come home, but
until action happens,
until we start doing something. Okay, and it has to start now. We can't really wait to say, let's start next year.
The FIBA World Cup qualifiers are just around the corner.
Just around the corner.
3-on-3.
Sometime this month.
Where we are the hosts. But at the moment, we don't seem like we're even ready at all.
We don't know what's happening. Are we preparing?
We don't know if we're even ready at all. The last time that it happened, they were hosted at the Lugogo hockey grounds. And at the moment, no communication is coming in. No preparation is seen at the moment. Talk about digital influencing and marketing of a project. Nothing is happening. So for a tournament that big, which is international, those are some of the little things that should be happening. Now that we're in a digital era. For instance, something like that would attract sponsors. someone would want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Even if it is just placing their banners and placards all over, that would be something great.
Yeah.
But if they don't know about it, they also cannot come on.
That is very true. Yeah, and I was thinking earlier before the show, way back I was talking to someone. He was saying that, way back, basketball was sponsored by Sprite, and Sprite had a very big influence on basketball. There was a time MTN was sponsoring, Airtel came in, but as we speak, I don't think we have a sponsor.
No, we do not.
Yeah, the league does not have a sponsor, and we have consistently lost sponsors because of the same issues, and we are not attracting any more sponsors because of the same issues. So it didn't take a rocket scientist to see that this is the problem. Okay, let us find a way of solving
this is what we should be doing.
Yes.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball. Your views, your comments on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube will be read and will be reviewed. We return after this short break. Our boys were able to beat on Nigeria. And for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. A lot has been happening in the game of basketball. First of all, as Slam Dunk Basketball would like to first thank the Silverbacks for doing the nation proud and for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. It was a tough task, and history was made when the Silverbacks, our boys, were able to beat on Nigeria. Welcome back to the final segment of the show. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal, and I am with my co-host Emmanuel Eteng. We're discussing the Silverbacks and also the resumption of the league and the uncertainties, the questions that surround everything concerning the league resuming. When the league was halted, so many things weren't happening.
Yeah.
The fans, I would say although there was a select team of journalists who had to get accreditation, which we actually got, myself and yourself inclusive, to attend the games. But the fans were actually let in to watch the games, which was not supposed to happen. Now, we're looking at the venues where the games are going to be happening. The possible venues, and I'm wondering, with FUBA still having an issue of finances to actually even operate the league, how are they going to actually control the funds? Because to do that, you need reinforcement. You need some officers, you need to create like a barricade, so that the funds are out. And come the paradox, these are open venues.
I just think about the irony of the last time when certain teams were playing, guys were not allowed to watch. But when certain teams came on court,
when KIU was playing, I'd be very blunt. When KIU was playing, first of all, the KIU games were happening
at KIU.
At KIU. Now, definitely the students and also the Kansanga community have to come and support
their team.
Yes, it is their team.
Same thing with the UCU game.
When it came to Mukono, it was the same thing. When UCU was playing, the students had to come and support. The people around had to come and support. The gate was open. The main gate and the side gate. So people were walking in. And remember, it's an open ground. It's not like you're going to charge someone money.
Yeah.
Someone is coming to support, to watch, actually. Even if they don't know the game, but they just have passion for it.
Yeah.
Say, that is our team.
Yeah.
Let's go and support.
Yeah. I think the only way they could have controlled it was if the games were at YMCA. There's a possibility, but remember also YMCA still has students who watch
YMCA has students who also reside.
Yeah, and they also have two teams that play in the league.
Yes,
yeah?
and they have teams which are in the league.
Which play in the league. So it's a very hard situation. To control fans, you need a venue like Lugogo, but they're not allowing us to play where? Indoor.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to play outdoor. Okay, so what do we do now? Okay,
because what I predict is the season actually ends the first weekend. Come playoffs, Federation is getting another letter from National Council of Sports to hold the playoffs for failure of following the SOPs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
The fans are not actually social distancing. We don't have the sanitizer around.
Yeah.
Teams have actually only tested once, and now it's been a week, and they have not been tested again, and players have to again go on court.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing us running through the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that now brings into the perspective of we live in a digital era.
Which is why I'm wondering, we really needed Necessary Njoji, the president of the federation, to be
come and clear.
Yes. Unfortunately, he declined because of a tight work schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was
that
saying,
is why we need an official statement and like a blueprint for the fans out there to know. Yes, some of the people, the fans actually, were complaining.
Yeah.
The links were getting on late.
Yeah.
So you can watch the games on the FUBA Facebook page.
Yeah.
But people were starting to watch the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean financial problems. I guess even the production crew at some point wasn't paid, so you can't really work when you're not paid. But like I was saying, this is a digital era. Okay. Do you know how many TV stations are there in Kampala or Uganda at the moment?
Well, I don't have the actual count, but I believe there are over 20.
There are over 20.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, for a federation like FUBA, okay, can't you get a deal with one of these TV stations and say, listen, okay, we shall put our games on your TV station. How do we make a deal that will benefit both of us? Yes, you know, both parties. In that way, at least 50% of the people who would have come to watch the games are going to sit in their house and watch what?
And watch
basketball. I mean, why should I get transport to go all the way to UCU?
To Mukono.
Yes, yet I can sit in my house.
Yes, and
watch the game.
Back and forth.
But you know, buying data is something.
Yes,
we can't buy data all the time. Okay, so put it on TV station where people can watch, and then now at least you have 50% of the problem dealt with.
Yes.
The other 50%, you find a way.
And by doing that, you're also creating value for
to the sport.
Product.
Yes.
Because what FUBA has constantly, always failed to do is to treat basketball as a commercial product.
Yes. We still think basketball is just a game.
A sport. Yet it is a commercial product.
Yeah.
And instead of following the blueprint of the NBA, where they treat the NBA is a commercial product.
Yeah.
It is not just, it is not a sport.
It's not a sport.
It's not a sport. It is a commercial product.
True.
Now, by doing that, you are creating more value for your product.
Yeah.
Already you have the resources. You have the players, you have a few venues. Now, that is what you sell to a sponsor when you go to them. You don't have to have a 20-slide presentation and explain a SWOT analysis
and all these things,
strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. No.
Yeah.
What you are providing is actually seen.
Yeah. So that is something FUBA really needs to look into going forward, because with this whole situation of lockdown and the virus, we can't know that even next year, you know, everything is going to be fine.
We're not sure if the league will be going on smoothly.
Yeah.
And yet we want to wrap up this season so that next season starts on a clean slate.
Yeah, and I believe that even if they started allowing us to use the indoor courts without fans, you will still need to televise these games. And
Definitely, because how will the fans watch?
that's the other thing.
You already have a brewery company which is sponsoring in a mini way part of the league. But their main issue is the playoffs. They want to come on in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yes.
That is Tusker.
Yes.
Yes, they want to come in the playoffs.
In the playoffs,
now they want to they want to see that momentum. Because I'm believing if I'm sitting in the chair of head of marketing of Tusker, and this is what I'm seeing, and you're asking and having a proposal on my desk for 200 million for the playoffs. I'm going to ask you, why do you need the 200 million?
What are you going to do with the 200? What value are you bringing back to?
What am I getting in return as a company? Am I improving my sales? Am I improving my brand equity? Am I improving my brand visibility?
All those issues.
And then along everything, how much negative publicity am I also getting? Because when the negative publicity comes around the sport, around the playoffs, around the activities that are happening, it also
goes to the sponsor.
Reflects back to me.
Sponsor,
So I would also want to take a back step.
And those are things. Then another thing that we need to look at, talking about commercialization of the sport, we have players in the league, okay? Some who do not have jobs and they depend solely on basketball, okay? If we take an example of not only the NBA, even other leagues, players there have endorsement deals, you know, they do advertising, you know, they do different things because of the game of basketball that actually gives them money. The
brand placement.
Yes, brand placement. The only time I've seen someone try to do that, Imani Shiwe had, I think, some photo shoot with some perfume company, but that I think no one ever got to know about it, you know, because we really
it wasn't really
broadcast that much.
That much.
Yeah, but you see, even the players in FUBA are products that you can actually use to market.
They are products.
Yes, we are products. As the players, the coaches, you can use the players not only to market the sport itself, but also to help the different sponsors. Okay, to help branding, to help all these different elements that go into commercialization. But let's take an example of Stephen Omoy, okay? One of the biggest names in Ugandan basketball. Did you ever see him do an advert for a shoe company, sports company,
or even
Uganda,
a beverage company?
Never. That is an opportunity that we actually lost. Okay, we would have used him as the Michael Jordan of Ugandan basketball. Okay, but that is something that we didn't do, and look at where we are now. Look at the situation that we find ourselves in as a federation.
Because so many of these things are known, but they're not happening. And one of the reasons, in my opinion, is because we don't have dedicated people on our ESCOM committee. And they themselves, as they've said, they're volunteers. But why come into a position when you're not willing to go all out? Because that is one of the issues. You come into a position, but you're not fully dedicated to it. Then, when the results are not actually happening, the stakeholders, who are ourselves, who are the fans, who are the enthusiasts, who are the people that actually invest money in basketball, are going to always point the finger at you.
True. And you know, like how we keep discussing about the CEO.
The CEO, I do not know which part, I don't know who they are bringing, because all of a sudden that is a topic that has gone silent in the federation.
And that's the person that we need right now to answer some of these questions.
No, he's the person that is actually going to carry this big cross. Because it is really a big cross.
It's a very big cross.
There's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of baggage.
Whoever that is, I wish them the best. They're going to find themselves, you know, like how they say, you jump from the frying pan to the fire. This one is jumping directly.
No, he's not jumping from the frying pan.
Into the fire.
He's jumping, not in the fire. He's jumping into the furnace. He's going to jump into the furnace.
And I don't know, but you know, it's so saddening to see something like this happen. We have the best league, I believe, in Africa. We are there, okay? And we have very good players. We have talent. We attract a lot of talent from outside, you know. Just a few things here and there for us to fix. Okay, I'm not in that position. I'm not a PR. I'm not, the president.
Not an administrator.
Not an administrator. I might not have skills to do all these things. But, looking from outside, okay, I believe that these are some of the things that can be fixed to make our federation and the basketball in Uganda way better.
It has been Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. To the basketball fans out there, tentatively, and I repeat tentatively, the league is meant to resume on October 2nd. That is the National Basketball League. The lower division is meant to resume on October 16th. We will catch you next time. It has been Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Eopal, and I have been with Emmanuel Ateng, my co-host. Catch you next time.
A bit of complication, but it's intriguing.
Yes.
It's designed that way.
Yes, yes,
okay?
yes.
It may be a maze,
yes,
but there is order to what appears to be disorder.
So that is Pastor Semper.
That's Pastor Semper.
Yes.
And that's actually the work of God,
yes,
a complex.
Yes.
When God does things, He does them fearfully and wonderfully. They're amazing.
Yes.
When you look at them. So people like you said, they want to put a dot where there should be a comma.
Yes.
And they want to keep you only in one place. People like to say, Pastor, why are you now entering into politics? Why are you now commenting on it? Pastor, now for example, yesterday some fellow on Twitter was complaining, I forget his name. He complained about a woman who tweeted that she's got 6 dildos, electronic dildos, okay? And she was saying, these are, can you imagine, I can have these and I have no threat of STDs. So now one of my followers complained and said, man, how can we even compete with these things that never run out of energy? And now there was a growing falling out of people saying, man, we are really
being taken down, these things. But you're a human being, you're not electricity.
Exactly. But now,
and the system was never created for electricity.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, normally I don't go very, very much into issues of sex and but if I have to, I will. Yes. Because I represent a thinking of a biblical way, and people see me as a role model. Yeah. So I remember that back in I think about maybe 2019, they released a report, and this is a scientific report, that showed that couples, that is man and woman who had sexual relations and exchanged fluids, were happier. Women who had sex and exchanged sexual fluids were happier, and they examined what is the sexual fluids from a man. What are the chemical components? They broke them down. One of them, they call it a happy hormone called oxytocin. Now oxytocin is a happy hormone. When a woman receives oxytocin, she gets happy. It's only released during sex with a man or when she's breastfeeding a baby. Those are 2 times. And it makes her happy. Why do women, why do they bond with their baby, love them so much? Because there's a chemical release that God has designed. So when I release this research to this guy, I say, guys, don't worry, you are not, there is no even a competition. Those women there, they may use those gadgets, but they are still miserable still. Long after they have run out of batteries, because they can never have what God put into you. Guys were happy. Because you see, when God gives you a mission to bring happiness to you, between you and your wife, He equips you with a capacity to make her happy, which cannot be found in a dildo or in a machine. And by the way, I sometimes like to point this out to those who are practicing same-sex relations. You can't have that. You can't have that.
No.
Lesbians, homosexuals, they do not have that. It never comes, that chemistry. Number 2, even in those who are doing these feminists who are doing masturbation, whatever, you can't get those hormones. So I sometimes say the reason why some feminists are continuously miserable because they have never sampled the happy hormone.
No embarrass at all. And Pastor, I have a very interesting message here from Edward Ochom. He has said, and I'm going to read some of your questions from out there. Yeah. This is coming from Edward Ochom. Is a serious lawyer in town, land rights lawyer, and with a fresh master degree from Swansea University, just returned. Swansea, yeah.
England.
Yes.
Well, hi, how you doing?
Hello, welcome to this edition of You and the Law. My name is Jonathan Ochom, your host. You and the Law is simply what it is, you and the law. In this show, we try to demystify the law for the ordinary person, make it simple for a teacher, for a lawyer, for a farmer, for a doctor, for a border rider, for a cleaner, everyone in our society. This program touches on every aspect of our lives that relate to the law. Is it marriage? Is it property? Is it land? Is it traffic? Anything that touches on the law will be discussed in this program. Today, we're going to have an interesting conversation that will focus on the institution of marriage. I know most of us have attended marriage functions. Some of us are married. Most of us viewers are married. But what does it mean to be married? How does the law look at marriage? So this conversation today will focus on demystifying the whole topic around marriage and how it is viewed from the eyes of the law. And to help us do this, I have a learned mind with me, and it's none other than my friend, my colleague, Emmanuel Elau. Emma, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Hello, viewers. Thank you for having me on the show.
In House of Talent, when you fist bump, you spread the love. So you do this, then you spread the love. Yeah, so Emma, how have you been?
Well, I've been great.
Yeah, we're coming in from 42 days of a lockdown. How has it been on your end?
It's been quite difficult. You know, you wake up in the morning, you sit around the compound, you look at the time. You know, you lose sense of the calendar because you fail to understand which is a Monday and which is a Sunday.
You're even lucky that you have a compound. Some people live in one-bedroom houses and have nothing to look except their, iron sheets.
Yeah, sure.
And really, you're, our first guest really on this program. And why do you think it's, sort of important for people to just know about the law? Because I know you've been teaching law and practicing law for all these years, yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. You know, when it comes to the law, we basically live the law, on a day-to-day basis, Whether it is in your bedroom, there is a law that governs it. If you're married, for example, even if you're single, there could be something touching on the law because you might be in your bedroom with an underage girl or you might be with another person's wife. All the things are the law, When you jump on a border, there is law. When you're driving, we're talking about traffic. If you go to a restaurant, you must ensure that you have the money because you're consuming someone's energy and investment. So you must be able to pay for that. So we interact with the law at all times.
It's part of our everyday life.
Yes.
Man, you don't want to be in trouble after many years of working hard only to realize that you have no rights at all simply because you didn't celebrate any of the marriages that are recognized within the laws of Uganda. With that, we come to the end of this edition of You and the Law. It's a bye from us. See you next time.
Hello and welcome to the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila and this is House of Talent Television. The CEO Bench brings you the guest today who is a security expert, a man who is, heavily invested into the business of cybersecurity and infrastructure development in Uganda. Is a company that started about 10 years ago. And 2015, he branched into cybersecurity and infrastructure development and enterprise, bringing solutions to businesses and, making things that business more secure for us all. Ladies and gentlemen, all across the world, the guest on the CEO Bench this particular morning, afternoon, or night, depending on which part of the world you are actually watching the CEO Bench from, is Adrian Kamoga. Adrian, welcome to the program. Thank you. Here we spread love according to Pastor Joshua Mugabe. He says when we do this, you have to spread your fingers to give love out here.
I remember that. Easy.
Okay.
Yeah. But over the time, I've learned a couple of things. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So on that note, if a person is trying to get to know, first of all, are you Ugandan? If yes, what are the values that define you as a Ugandan?
Well, I'm Ugandan.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely I'm Ugandan. I'm born here, and I've studied here.
Okay.
I'm not from MIT or what. I'm just from Uganda. Yes,
okay.
Yes, I'm Ugandan.
And Adrian, what are the values that define you as a Ugandan?
Well, a lot of things, but majorly is that I've done so much to make sure that we grow the ICT sector of Uganda. Yeah. Okay. I would have gone to other countries. I had opportunities to do my business in Tanzania, in Kenya, but I said no. My core value is to see that the ICT sector in Uganda grows. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the people who nominated you to come to the program seems to think that you are one of those people who have been doing great stuff onto, you know, the ICT sector in Uganda.
Yeah.
But a lot of us don't understand what the ICT is about. We are always talking about ICT, ICT, ICT.
Yeah.
We never sort of like get to the bottom line of a definition of what an ICT is and what is this enterprise solution that we're talking about that people should know.
Okay.
We're talking about cybersecurity to start with. What is really cybersecurity?
Well, I will start from ICT.
Yes.
Because I remember back in the day when I was still studying, and when I told my mother I was going to do computer science, all her hopes were in me doing medicine because I did PCB math.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So when I told her that I'm going to do computer science, she said, "Oh, what are you going to do? Maybe you're going to be playing music, putting music on people's CDs." Yes. Well, it was quite completely the opposite, and took me some time to explain to her.
Yeah.
ICT is information computing technology. As of now, I would talk about, I would say it's digitization.
Yeah.
It could be going digital on everything. Yeah. It's a combination of a lot of things, from gadgets, from the technology, from the connection of how you're able to stream whatever you're streaming now.
Yeah.
It's all IT.
Okay.
Yeah. So how those networks work, how they interconnect, how the devices communicate in an environment. Yeah. Now, when we go to an enterprise, well, we are focused on enterprise technology, and I used to have a lot of inquiries back in the day, and someone comes to me and says, "Oh, I need a computer. I want to buy a computer for myself." And sometimes I would tell them, "Okay, we can help you as an individual, but that's not our focus." So the enterprise is, we focus on provision of solutions to all verticals, the financial sector, the education, government. You're looking at big kind of organizations. Okay. That's now the enterprise bit. Okay. So cybersecurity is making sure that the environment we operate in is secure.
Okay.
The cyberspace. Okay. Yeah. You know, when someone wants to understand how computing works, it's like, I know Eddie is my friend, so we get to connect and talk and share. Yeah. So in the computing environment, there's also a connection. Okay. And that's how the internet comes about, the inter-network, whereby I could be here and I'm able to communicate to someone in the US. Yeah. I could be here and maybe the server that hosts my emails is probably running in UK, but I can be able to access it here. So now the connection, how we communicate, now there need to be some bit of security, because probably someone wants to know exactly what is Eddie communicating to me.
Yes.
And that's when the security bit comes in, because probably the hacker would want to know exactly which kind of communication are you having, and what are you sharing? Are you sharing private stories? And that could be vital information for that person. It's always shared and sold in the cyberspace, in the dark web.
Wow. We're actually going to get into that bit of the dark web and the white head and the white hat, the black hat. Well, we are welcoming you to the CEO Bench. Of course, Eddie Okela right here, and of course, Adrian Kamoga, who is our guest, today on this particular, CEO Bench program. He was nominated by over 25 votes to come into the CEO Bench, and the people in the technology world said, you hosted Elijah Chitaka, we need another, discussion about our sector on the CEO Bench. We've got some CEOs. Normally people in the technology are not known. They hide from people. They can't talk very nicely because they talk in more of a technical point of things than to explain things. They tend to be the back end of things. But we want to bring the technology people to the forefront. We want to bring the CEOs, the investors in this tech business out, and also to the space. Adrian, the particular TV program that you're on today, the CEO Bench, is a 1-hour weekly television program and focuses mainly on individual leaders. And when we talk about that, we're looking at people in position of leadership. We're looking at people who have led self to a certain degree. For one to make it here, you must have made it to a certain degree of growth. So we want to look at the self-leadership, we want to look at the change management, we want to look at the, transformation. When we talk about self-leadership, how are you able to pick yourself from the beginning to where you are today? And I want to take you just a little bit back to start with the leadership part of that. Growing up in the streets of Masaka, if at all you were in the streets of Masaka or in Kampala, what were you looking for when you were growing up? What inspired you as a child before we get into, the deep end of leadership? Yes.
Well, when it comes to leadership, my journey in leadership has been quite lengthy. If I start from the composition of my family, I'm the second born. In the unit of my family, in families we have extended families. I'm talking about particularly my father and mother. I'm a second born and the firstborn boy. So leadership has been in me, in blood, whereby in so many circumstances at home, I acted as a leader. I was always given the leadership position.
Just by the fact that you were the first boy.
Exactly. So, and I remember when I was changing school from Shak to Kampala, from St. Henry's to Kampala, I actually became the head prefect at my A level. So even during my course in the university, I always took the position of guidance and leadership. So that's where my focus started from in terms of leadership.
Did your father sort of like mentor you into becoming who you are today, or was your mother a leader, or was your father a leader? Who was in that position of leadership that was pushing you to make sure you become somebody of a development, of a significant human being in society?
Well, my father was a businessman. He was a teacher, a professional teacher, and he was a headmaster. And even in my A-level school, he had a big position in the board of directors. So I always looked up to my father, to be honest. First of all, so he transformed from being a head teacher to doing now private business, whereby he started his own school a couple of years ago. And then, of course, I studied in his school for the whole of my primary section. And, of course, it was an inspiration how he could manage the business. His numbers grew from about 200 pupils to about 1,000. And, of course, we have a couple of people who have gone through his hands in Kampala.
Adrian, talking of the leadership, by the way, just before we take a small break, I want to ask you a question. Leadership and the definition of leadership is not something that is very, taken lightly or understood by many people, for lack of a better word. What is your definition of leadership? And who is a leader to you? First of all, what is leadership and who is a leader to you?
Well, leadership to me it's like guidance, you know, guiding people towards a certain vision.
Okay.
And being on top there, making the strategic decisions and making sure that you get to the top.
You as a person or you as the people?
As an institution.
Okay.
As an institution.
And who is a leader to you?
To me, a leader would be someone who now has the values of leadership. Because not everyone who is a CEO or a CFO, a CIO is a leader. Yeah. Some people actually fail to guide their teams to success. So someone who has the values, the core values of leadership, is the person who...
And what would you term as the core value of leadership to you? If you would say, you mentioned the word quite a number of times. What is your core value of leadership?
Of leadership.
Yes.
So to me, some of the things is understanding, someone who understands the vision.
Yeah.
The vision. And then someone who can be able to manage a team of people, you know, because it's not easy to manage people when it comes to institutions, because people have their different, when you gather people into one place and have them focus towards a certain goal, that's a core value. Some people enter into leadership for probably growth of their careers, individual careers. But now when you're a leader, you stop thinking about yourself. You think about the people. Because whatever you do affects the entire institution, the entire probably department you're trying to run. Yeah.
Okay. And on that note, Adrian, are you a leader?
Well, I've been a leader since 2010, because that's when I decided to go into private business. I started as a CEO, and I'm still a CEO. Yeah. Well, and of course, it's evident in the market of what we've been able to achieve. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you go back from when you were a child,
yeah,
do you think you had the DNA of a leader?
I think
that
so.
You are today?
Yeah, I think so.
How did you arrive to that point to say
I think so.
When you say
yeah, because I think I've always driven myself into leadership position. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Adrian, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we want to be able to tackle the question of, cybersecurity. And you out there, we want you to drop us kisses and disses, your comments if we're doing well. We are, of course, live. You can catch us on Facebook, House of Talent Uganda, and you'll be, in things. And share that far and wide. Subscribe to our Facebook, broadcast channel, as well as our YouTube, and of course, House of Talent Uganda YouTube. Right there, House of Talent TV, and you'll be in things. We're also live on our, website. We cannot host the cybersecurity, CEO and not be able to do this thing like live on our www.houseoftalentug.com is live. Please go and share far and wide. It's for our all, wider family all across. The CEO Bench will take a break, and when we come back, the interview on the CEO Bench with Adrian Kamoga will continue shortly after the break.
There's a lot that is involved in the civil society organizations. There's leadership in itself, there's management of processes, there's management of the human resource, there's fundraising, there's research. It's a lot that needs to be done, and many times there is a feeling that is too much for a woman because she has other traditional roles that she needs to do as at home. Yeah. So many times as people are looking for leaders in civil society organizations, the priority is usually given to men because of our society that feels that men have the time, men have the capacity, men have the ability to lead, to take this organization to greater heights. And women, there will be a problem. They will have to go to maternity for maternity leave. They have issues. They are too emotional. They have not done the courses that are good enough for leaders. They don't have time to, you know, to go for extra, you know, learning, or to go for work outside Kampala because they have to tend to their children. So there's too much that society has tied around a woman. And it's true. We have these traditional roles that we have to do, but does not in any way mean that women cannot lead in these spaces.
Welcome back from that break. This is the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila, and my guest in the studio is Kamoga Adrian, who is the CEO and the founder of an ICT firm called the Standard ICT and Enterprise Solutions Uganda. He's been there in the business for some time. And Adrian, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
We are talking about leadership. And of course, if you're joining us from anywhere across the world, we want to say thank you very much for coming to the CEO Bench. The CEO Bench has a huge following from all across the world. And like you said, we already embraced the ICT world. Like you said, we're interneting with so many other people out there. We need to look into our cybersecurity if it's safe. That's why we're broadcasting on our website. So Adrian is an expert on you know, cybersecurity, and he's been there since 2015 now as a specialist on that sector. Adrian, transformational leadership approach and leadership abilities that often define the leader's level of effectiveness is our focus this morning. And we've talked about leadership so far to that level. I want you to tell us something more now. Transitioning to starting your business, a lot of people don't understand what to do up there. So many people don't know how to go about it. And it can be exhausting as well. And some people give up very easily. Then we look at what is next for that leader or for that CEO if you're moving. Have you ever been employed, by the way, when you're going into change management? Let's talk about your life from school to where you are now. How did you end up here?
Actually, my life is quite interesting. And sometimes when I'm meditating and I'm thinking about my journey in how I've managed to build myself. I never went to school to study business. I never went to school to study leadership. It has been in me from day one, because way back when I was still in school, when I was still in A-level actually, I used to, I had the love for business. Because I remember that by that time I used to do clothing. I started a clothing business. And I used to organize tailors and then mobilize them, get contracts from schools, and be able to supply the uniforms to the schools. That was my journey in A-level. And then I did that up to my vacation. So when I went to campus, now I did my computer science bachelor's. Of course, the gene for business, the love for business and leadership was already in me. So I remember I went for internship somewhere, and from there I was able to now understand how the systems work, how business models in ICT work. You know, this is what the component we always lack. We always go to school, learn the technology, but then when it comes to the business part, many people miss out. So I was able to get that touch as a trainee, and immediately after doing my training, I started.
Which organization was this?
The organization by then was called Mara Group of Companies.
Okay.
And under that, we used to be under a company called RAPS. So RAPS was one of the biggest companies by then, and it had very good leadership.
In ICT?
In ICT, yes.
Okay.
It was one of the biggest companies by then, but they were focused on infrastructure. Yes. So that is where I get the idea of infrastructure bit. And then I added on the cybersecurity later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that changed. How did you move from there? Were you employed before? Did you ever seek employment? For how long were you employed?
I never sought for employment. All I did was I decided when I was in university, I said I need to understand how business works in ICT. So definitely I had to go into a bigger company as a trainee, but not as an employee.
And how long were you able to take in that?
I was in RAPS I entered RAPS in 2009, sorry. And then I was there for about 1.5 years. Yes, because I started my first company in 2010, October 2010, yes.
Adrian, I mean, a lot of people may not understand this. This is actually a very interesting case study of change management, but also transformational thinking from university. You've talked about being university and the ability for you to think entrepreneurial or entrepreneurship at that level. It's quite amazing. It's an incredible thought.
Yeah.
The fact that you were a student at the university and you were thinking that I don't want to seek employment. Many of us were in the university. And the first thing we wanted to do is to work for a big organization.
Yeah, which is
when I get out, I want to work for MTN. When I get out, I want to work for Africa Online. When I get out, I want to work for, for Airtel of this world. I want to work for government. I want to work for this big organization. We are never thinking about working for ourselves or starting something for ourselves. But here you are telling us you're already thinking that direction. What influenced your decision to start thinking about entrepreneurship at that level? Why not seek for work? Why not first do work?
Well, like I've told you that my transformation was from, I was in the clothing business.
Yeah.
And I had thought, I used to read books of Donald Trump, of Think Big.
Oh, yes.
My idea about all my life,
yes.
I always look at the bigger picture of things.
Yeah.
Because even when I was in clothing business, I used to get guys from downtown Nakasero.
Yeah.
But my focus was I often used to visit Phoenix in industrial area because they used to do uniforms for bigger schools and they used to handle bigger contracts. Yeah. So I used to always visit them so that I can try and understand how I can drive my business from just 2-3 schools to mass production of actually real clothing, line of clothing.
Yeah.
That was my focus. Now, the DNA in me was already business. So now, how I get into the idea of looking for a placement somewhere was to understand how systems work. And I was very, very humble in that company to an extent that I actually grew from a trainee to an assistant, a technical manager, whereby I did about 3 contracts, whereby I was the team leader, and we did that across the entire country. I think by then it was for URI. We did actually maintenance for URI. So I had a team of about 6 guys, who were set in each region, and I had to make sure that they reach safely, they get accommodation, they get to do their job cards very well, and also we compile a report which was sent back to URA for final documentation for payments. Yeah. So I remember how I started my company. So in me, it was not employment. It was to understand, or if I want to go to MTN, my focus would be to run a telecom company. That is me. That's how I drive my focus. My focus should be to run a telecom company. So when I get into MTN, I would want to know how the contracts, how do I get a license from UCC? How do I get, which kind of units are organized in MTN? We have the telecom part, we have the marketing and sales department, we have this. So then I'll go down to try to understand how the organization structure is, with the focus of putting up a telecom company. When I entered RAPS as a trainee, my focus was to understand how the systems work. I never looked for money. I was not paid for 6 months in RAPS. very humble. I would walk from school to our office and make sure every day I understand how is the job card written. How do you pitch a sale to a customer? And lucky enough, God was on my side. I managed to be humble until when the Indian who was our technical manager identified me as a leader within the organization. And when I went to the leadership stage, now I was able to interact with customers. Because when there was an issue that was needed to be solved, I would get into a judge with him. He used to drive a Bajaj. And when we go to a customer, and then he tries to understand. Probably the engineer came, he did sort something, but probably it was not sorted the right way. So then I started to build customer relationship experience. That's how I moved out. And when I was moving out, this is what I did. I got 5 guys. It was 1 lady, 4 guys. One was 3 guys. For us, we were in technical, and then 1 guy was in sales. Was a big guy in the sales department, and then 1 lady, she was manager enterprise, but she was also in the technical department. Yeah. So I told them, you guys, you know what? Because by then RAPS was winding up business in Uganda. Yeah. So I told them, you know what? You guys have been in the market for a long time. You have your customers. So why don't we rebrand and tell them, yes, well, RAPS has closed the business, but we can be able to still offer the solutions to you. That's how I started my journey in business. So when I started, we had a couple of meetings, and I think the guys were good to go. So I started in, of course, it's always not easy. Partnership business is not easy, because as a leader, you want to drive everyone to be on the same footing. Yeah. But of course, not everyone catches up. It has the speed that you're moving at. Yeah, of course, a couple of guys broke off. The lady went to Canada, and the guy had a lot of responsibility, so he had to seek for employment somewhere because it was like a startup. Yeah. The 3 guys, we tried to drive the business until 2014, when I realized that, okay, now I needed to run from normal IT now to the enterprise space. And of course, the team was a bit reluctant to change. So I said, now, if I have to go, I have to go in all. So that's how I transform into what I'm doing right now.
Wow. Yeah. We're talking to Adrian, and you've heard the story of what an amazing story right there, from campus, going into an organization for 1.5 months and moving from there and starting a company. The mindset of a young man out of campus is an amazing story right there. And of course, the CEO Bench talks and looks at leadership, self-leadership, change management, and transformation. How are you able to lead yourself from one end to the next end? And how are you able to change your life from a poor, malnourished human being to a well-fed human being leading organization, okay? And of course, then that transformation, how does it look like? Do people understand it? Do people enjoy that journey of the transformation, or do people just simply don't understand you? Everything we do in life, it must lead to somewhere. That's what the CEO Bench is all about. And we're talking to Adrian Kamoga, who is the CEO, the founder and the CEO of Standard ICT Enterprise Solutions Uganda, a company that is providing now cybersecurity, solution business for businesses in Kampala and all across Africa. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, Adrian and I are going to dive into what is cybersecurity, deep end discussion on ICT. Tap your neighbor, tap your cousin, tap your brother and your sister, even the grandmothers and grandfathers who are not understanding how these things are, to come online. Let's have a conversation. Stay right there. I'll be right back after the break. Adrian Kamoga, we're taking a break on the CEO Bench. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you.